rolling. Hey gang, welcome back to another mini view on industrial amputation. Today we've got with us Jim Samonic from Red Lokust. Jim, can you talk about your band's history and what led to its creation?
Actually, we started in 2015. My previous band that I was playing in, Reinforced, we had a gig with KMFDM and Inertia and in Pittsburgh. And Lee from Aslan Faction, a band on Noitek Records from the early part of the 2000s, approached me after the show, after we had played. He came to my merch table with his girlfriend and said, "Hey man, great show." And I was like, "Oh," I'd met him like once before that. I was like, "It's good to see you, man," and we just started talking music and stuff. And he was like, "I have like, some material that I could, I'm looking for a vocalist." And I was like, "Well, fuck, man." I was already a fan of Aslan Faction, so I was like, love to work with you, man. So I was going on vacation to Vegas that next day with my girlfriend. So I remember being in the airport and checking my laptop, like just signing in, checking my email, and already there were like 6 songs in my inbox from him.
Oh, wow.
And that was like, I'm like, holy shit. I was like, he sent me 6 songs already. So, I put my headphones on and I'm like, I'm going to check these out. And I'm like, I'm listening to them and like, girlfriend's like looking over at me and I'm like, it's fucking awesome. I was like,
great,
and I was like, I want to fucking write with this guy, so, and that became our first record, because he ended up sending me another like 4 tracks, and we ended up having Klaus from Leatherstrip do a remix, and it came together fairly quickly because in 2016 the first record came out, Repercussions of Shedding Your Skin. 4 years later, we went out and we did some shows, did a little bit of touring regionally, nothing like major, had some really good openings. Let's open for Suicide Commando and a bunch of other bands of like sort of that caliber, and played some shows down in DC, Philly, and it was great. It was a different dynamic than I was used to working with, and we put out our second record in 2020, but unfortunately, like right at the end of 2019 is when we finished it, had it mixed down. What happened?
Mm-hmm.
The pandemic. Mm-hmm. So our record releases literally right as lockdown happens.
Yeah.
It's like that March, it comes out. And I'm like,
that kind of kicked a lot of people in the teeth, man. It really fucking did.
Dude, I remember the reviews of that record, and one of them stands out in my mind. It was like, man, it must really suck to be this band right now, to release something so like club friendly that crushes and not be able to play it.
Yeah, my God.
And we didn't get to, obviously when everything reopened in 2022, we got booked on what's now called Dark Force Fest. Mm-hmm. It was called Dark Side of the Con 4, but we were the first band on the first day. So we were the first band to open basically music back up to that crowd.
Dude.
And it was electric. It was one of the best experiences.
Oh my God.
I didn't think I was gonna get to play live again, let alone have to wait 2 years to play those songs. And then
holy crap,
new album came out last year, and so that's the short and sweet of it. I hope that answers your question.
That's fucking awesome, man, dude. What a fucking trip.
Yeah.
I right at the end of 2019 in October, at the end of October in 2019, I was hit by a truck while cycling.
Oh my God.
I was fucked up pretty hard, right? And then the world just went.
Yeah.
And
no
legitimately, doubt. I was fucked up bad enough that there were legitimately times where I was like, I didn't survive. This is fucking purgatory. This is not real. This isn't real. I'm not here. It was that kind of thing. And so 2022 was good. It kind of felt like the world righted itself just a little bit.
Yeah.
And So
I'm
I'll
glad.
make it
I'm
with
glad
you.
you're here.
I'm glad I'm here still too, man. It was
That's
a
brutal.
great
Wow.
fucking story though, man, and it was a hell of a thing. But I have a tattoo. Fuck death. I haven't got the time. That's my 25th birthday.
all right.
Rites of passage. It's a self-portrait. Basically me going death. So yeah, the fingers crossed. I keep doing that. So your last full length, Hope is the Last Refuge of the Dying, released in May of 2024. You touch upon themes of loss, cancer survival, war, infidelity, and doomed future. Why were these important attributes to incorporate into your music?
I always sort of bring personal experience along with it, but a lot of it is politics. I was turned on to this theory called the fourth turning, and it was captivating to me that every 20 years the nation goes through sort of a generational shift. You know, that the first 20 years, you know, a first turning would have been like the 50s through the Kennedy assassination.
Yeah.
The second one was like from there to the re-election of Ronald Reagan. The third was from there to the collapse of the banks in 2008. And right now we're in the fourth turning, which is considered to be the worst one and most calamitous one.
Yeah.
Before the cycle resets. And I was like, you know, there is a song there.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
And the re-election of Donald Trump was, at the time I wrote that song, was on the horizon.
Yeah.
I was hoping it wasn't, but it ended up happening, and I'm like, man, this is going to be kind of prophetic in a way. I will always write songs about cancer survival because I feel like even though I'm 17 years out from that experience, I'm writing for other people that are going through it now.
And I gotta say, I'm very happy you're still here too.
Oh, thank you, brother. Thank you. I greatly appreciate that. So and as far as the other subject matter, it's a matter of like I tend to just write about negative stuff and I tend to write best when I'm upset about something.
Yeah.
You know, but there's a song called Skinjacker on there that I wrote after watching Pumpkinhead.
Oh.
Now Pumpkinhead.
That's a great fucking
It
movie.
is, but I only just saw it recently, and I'm like, how the hell did this one get by me?
You didn't
from
see that?
No.
Oh my god!
No.
It was a fucking mind trip when it came out.
I could imagine. I was like,
oh
man,
my god,
Lance Henriksen. I was like, how did this one get? I had known of that movie, but I didn't know Lance was in it.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah, he was one of my heroes for quite a while.
Yeah,
When
man,
that
Bishop.
came out,
You know, fucking the cop from Terminator.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I absolutely, you know, adore that man, and to see that movie, I had no idea. So I was like, okay, I want to write a monster movie song.
Yeah.
You know? So that's how Skinjacker came out.
Nice.
You know? So yeah, I try to have as much fun writing these things as well as being serious and sort of self-deprecating and a little, you know, nihilistic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
I think we would write well together. I'm just gonna put that out there. So I saw you last night, and holy shit, man!
Really?
Okay. I am in fucking awe. I had not been familiar with your work before.
Wow!
But suddenly you had an intro. A spoken intro for a song about this is about relationships and like blah blah.
Oh yeah, I asked if there were any married people.
Right.
Yeah,
And then the first few fucking bars, and I'm like, oh my god!
The Drama-Rama cover, yeah.
Drama-Rama, anything. My band, Adrenochrome, used to cover that every once in a while, and it's one of my favorite songs of all time. I've got the GoPro footage of you doing that song, and it's probably ruined because I'm probably screaming along with it. Or no, I am definitely screaming along with it, but yeah. So, great cover of Drama-Rama's Anything on this record.
Thank you.
Why did you cover this track, and do you feel it ties in thematically somehow with the concepts we've discussed?
Yes. It does tie in because it's sort of a... I feel like it relates to the other stuff I talk about when I write songs about relationships.
Yeah. It is a quintessential one, man.
I was always a fan of Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4.
Yeah.
You know, the scene where, he's doing the nunchuck to that, thing to that song. So that was sort of my first exposure to that song was when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I've always loved it. So Lee and I were out touring. We were on our way to Madison. And I'm like, it'd be a really sweet cover. Is Dramarama's Anything.
Yeah.
Now, Lee's wife listens to a lot of obscure 80s stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and Lee didn't know the song. And I'm like, I bet you your wife does. And so when Lee got back home, he played it for her. And her response was, Lee was like, we're going to cover this. And her response was, don't fuck it up.
And you okay, I'm gonna say it like this. You totally fucked it up, but in the best goddamn way possible. You tore the shit out of that song.
I appreciate that, man. Because it was a lot of fun to do.
Yeah. You were having some really, really profound fun on stage doing that.
I always do.
Yeah,
we're gonna play that, when we go out and we do these Saviors dates, but I'm omitting that song from our Pittsburgh date because they had heard us do it before.
Okay.
I wanted to give them a different cover, and we just finished a cover of and this is obscure, so no problem if you don't know this one.
Okay.
It's a band called Out, who just they gave us a new song for Electronic Savior 7, but they have a song from the 90s called Admire the Question. Okay. And it's going to appear on a Metropolis Records Alcoholics Awareness compilation.
Oh, fucking right on, man.
Nina's working on that right now. In fact, I this whole time I've seen Nina here at this festival, I keep forgetting to ask her when that's coming out.
Okay.
I know she wanted to keep it a little bit further away from Electronic Saviors as to not release two things like that close together.
Yeah.
But so that's something else that we have in the pipeline.
I'm looking forward
to
that.
But
I'm not familiar with
Out is Mark Allen Miller. He early 90s act, electro act, was sort of around, but they were one of the first bands that Metropolis signed.
Okay.
So that's kind of why I wanted to do a cover of Out, because I'm like, I think that would be a fitting tribute to Dave.
Yeah.
And that was the whole reason for that. And so, but with the Dramarama cover, to end that story, when I sent Lee the vocal track for Lee to mix down, and Dana heard it, and I wrote back, hey, does it meet your approval, your standards? She just wrote back, all fires. She was like, all fires. So
excellent.
Yeah, people do love that. Love that cover.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my god. So what's in store for the future for your band?
If you ask me, as many live shows as possible, because
excellent.
Lee and I both have jobs. We don't get to play out of town often. We want to do as many festivals as possible.
Yeah.
We want to play as many cities as possible, but our jobs have to allow for that. And if it were up to Lee, we'd already be started on the next record.
Yeah.
And I know that he already has.
Okay.
Because he does all the music.
All right.
So he's already written a bunch of new stuff. Like, we have the Electronic Saviors track, which is brand new.
Yeah.
But he wants to keep writing I Need a Break. Doing ES7 was a, crazy task. And considering it just came out a month ago, I need to, like Christian at Cop says, you need to stop for a while. You need to rest.
Yeah.
Dude, you're doing
respite, man.
You're doing too much, and you're gonna burn yourself out.
Yeah.
You're tired.
Yeah.
And so I told Lee I did want to take some time off from writing, because writing and recording is what I hate the most. I hate it. This right here with you.
Yeah.
This is my favorite.
Oh,
this
man.
is the best.
Yeah.
Like being here at Mechanismus, playing for you guys last night. That is what I live for. Doing that panel that I just did. That is
joining 16 Volt on stage.
Yes.
Unexpectedly. that secret thing. You
Oh.
guys fucking missed it, man. If you weren't here last night.
Did I tell you I was gonna do that before?
No,
that was a
you
surprise.
didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I had.
I told
already,
a couple people. I was just wait.
I've got my GoPro. So for this festival, I've been using the GoPro to get at least a couple of tracks from every band that's playing. And I had already turned off the camera after getting a couple of really good tracks by 16 Volt. I had stepped back out of the crowd, and then I hear his voice, and I'm like, motherfucker! Click, click, click. Yeah.
Like some people, after the Lokust set, because Daniel Meyer followed us.
Yeah.
And, so I was a sweaty mess, went to the merch table, and people were like, oh my God, very complimentary. And I was like, I hope it was, because I didn't really feel like it was loud enough on stage. But hey, if it sounded good for you guys, then
It sounded amazing.
I'm happy. That makes me happy. So as long as we made some sort of impression, I said, but I'm not done on stage tonight. And they were like, what? And I was like, fourth song during the 16 Volt set, just make sure you stick around.
Yeah.
So I told a couple people that, but without giving my close friends, like Jess working the table and Lee knew that I was going up because Eric asked me
It was a wonderful, wonderful fucking surprise, and the crowd fucking ate it up.
Yeah.
It was absolutely intense.
I may have had a little too much to drink before I went up there. But at the same time, you know what? Eric's an old friend, and when he would come through Pittsburgh, I would always jump up and do that song with them.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was just a Pittsburgh thing.
Yeah.
Like he would roll through, I would jump up and do, but 2 nights ago when they first rolled into town, he came to say hello at the merch table, and he was like, "You want to do motor skill with us tomorrow night?" And I'm like, "Are you serious?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I do."
Nice.
And so for those first 3 songs, I was over on the side of the stage, just leaning up against the wall on that ramp there, and just feeling good. And Damon rolled up next to me, and he was like, "Jason's using my bass," and I was like, "I'm like, dude, I've known Damon for a long time." And I'm like, dude, I'm watching. I have a perfect line of sight of their show. I was like, I am in fucking heaven right now, dude. And I was like, just wait. And then the opening, and I was like, I'll see you later. I snuck up there.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. Some people got video of it, which I was hoping.
I've got some GoPro footage of you guys. So,
I appreciate that, buddy.
Yeah, it was a fucking hell of a show. It really was. You guys fucking kicked some serious ass out there.
Thank you,
Very
man.
proud of you.
I really appreciate
I am
that.
so glad I got to meet you this year. This has fucking been an absolute fucking wonderful time.
Oh, dude, thank you so much.
And do you have anything else you want to promote or anything before we take off?
If I want to thank everyone who's come by the table to pick up Distortion releases. And
I'm sorry. You're part of Distortion.
I run the label.
You run the label.
Yeah.
Yes. Got a second to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the label has been in existence since about 2012. We've got about 115 releases. 150 releases.
Yeah.
We've worked with people like Dope Stars Inc. and Esh. Klaus Larson. Currently, our next release is a band from the UK called Agency V.
Yeah.
Peter Steer, who used to play in Tenek, is in that band. We signed Inertia this past year. We worked with Lorelei Dreaming, Sensuous Enemy, a lot of Madison bass bands, Null Device. Obviously Red Locust. Tragic Impulse from Pittsburgh. I mean, we have a fantastic roster.
You've got fucking what is it? Chic Trash or Trash Chic in Esh's.
Oh, and Esh's album.
Yeah.
We did 2 albums with him. We did Spank and Trash Chic. We don't have any more copies of Spank left, but.
Those are in my collection.
Blue Eyed Christ. If you haven't checked out Blue Eyed Christ.
Yes, I saw.
That's John.
The fucking roster is insane.
Yeah, we've
check
got
out
some good
Distortion. Distortion Records.
The Productions.
Distortion.
We call it Productions because it's more than a record label. Because I do produce shows in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I still bring bands through, and we do some stuff with DJs. So it's more than just. I like to call it more than just record label because it also cancer fundraiser through Electronic Saviors, concerts, and signing bands and releasing their music. So that's about it.
Hella cool, man. Hella cool.
Thank you, brother.
Buddy, everybody, check out Red Locust, check out Distortion Productions, and get out to the shows, support your local scene, support your local artists, buy the merch, buy the physical merchandise, the physical media. Be good to each other. This world can be a little dark and a little hard. We have to be the antithesis of that. So work on that. Please, please be good to each other. Love, hugs, and belly rubs, everyone. Cheers.